And welcome to your favorite sports program on a Thursday night. I am Locke Sebastian.
Ron Landa.
Emmanuel Loblack.
Right, and as usual, we have to welcome the presence of the Lord. So we'll start with our normal prayer. Yeah, we're still waiting on Pastor Rodney, our normal man who gives us our prayer. So we're going to hear him now.
We thank you for today. We are grateful that you blessed us throughout the day. And we're glad, Father God, that you have never turned your back on us. Today we ask that you bless this program, Father, that you will guide everyone that's on it today. All the hosts, Lord, you will take care of them. You'll provide them with wisdom. You will guide them. I ask, dear Father God, that you will enlighten them, that they in turn can enlighten their listeners. And that everyone, Father God, who will call on the program, who will participate, who will listen, will be edified. They'll be better off than they were yesterday. And that, Father God, also sight will be better for it. Bless the hosts and guide their conversations today for the good of the nation, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
His heart. He'll always do his part. I shall never walk in the valley of darkness. Would I fear? You are there. Never walk darkness. And your star lead me through the day.
So tonight, we have a program. We're going to be discussing football. As you know, the local football, there's the first division semifinals on. We're also dealing with the Premier League, the playoffs. We're going to be speaking about basketball. As you know, Donnie Robinson's team in danger, being knocked out tonight. We'll discuss that. We have cricket as well. We will be discussing. We'll have Red Sparrow and Fazia Mohammed will speak to us, and hopefully we should speak to the guy from Kite Territory. But as we said last week, and we were not able to do it because the Creole is coming up, the first session we will deal with something either bouillon or cadence people, people who have been legends really in local music. And I think there's no bigger legend than Gordon Henderson, guys. And tonight we have Gordon. And Gordon, we want to say good night to you, my brother.
Good evening, good evening.
And your friend Ronald Landa is there as well as Emmanuel Loblack. I think you're SMA
Yeah,
boy.
I can see you guys. I can see Ron. Happy to see Emmanuel Loblack.
Right, you're SMA boy. And in fact, they have a big do tomorrow night at the SME. So I guess all you SMA guys, Ronald Land and I were grammar school boys. So right. So God,
What a pity.
well, you know, in those days, God, you don't like to go to either SMA or DGS. is the best of the best. It's not like now, because these were the only schools around. SMA, DGS, Convent, and what's your name? Wesley High School. These were the only schools. So you had to be good to pass the exam to get to one of the schools in those days, right? Right.
But I must admit that I wanted to go to DGS, and the only reason I went to SMA is that year they started taking students in September.
Okay.
And I didn't want to wait for January.
Right.
And I ended up in SMA, but I don't regret it.
Okay, right.
Because one thing, there is one thing that's very, very important, and Gordon will adhere to that. The Cadets Music studied in St. Mary's Academy.
Yes, indeed, at the Glee Club.
Well, he'll tell us all that. That's why we have him there. But guys, as we said, next week is the Creole Festival. Gordon will be one of the guys on board. But we want to talk about Gordon and his band, how he started. A lot of people probably hear about Exile One, but they would not have known how it started. So Gordon, we'll start that with. Tell us how that you started that band, Exile One.
Okay. You're quite right. Many people might believe that Exile One was a band that started in Dominica. That wasn't the case at all. I used to be in Guadeloupe with a band called Levy King, and I was pursuing a career singing English. No Creole. As a matter of fact, they had a Creole singer in the band. And I had a hit in English. And one day, I met Fitzroy Williams in Guadeloupe, who was leaving the Gaylords. Well, the Gaylords Power Union, which was Dominica's probably most international group at the time.
Correct.
So Fitzroy was leaving, but I knew Fitzroy, as Lobby just said, way back from SMA. In SMA, we played together. And I asked him to find me some musicians in Dominica because I'm going to make a record. And hopefully after that record, we can continue as a group. And he told me no problems. And he recruited a number of young guys. So Fitzroy and I, we were probably in our early 20s, but he recruited guys who were in their late teens, 18, 19. Vivian Wallace, Julie Murillo. As a matter of fact, he selected one that was 16. That's Brian Rock. And they came over to Guadeloupe, and this is where we created Exile One to make a record and hopefully to continue as a group.
Well, the thing about it, Gordon, most of two of the original members have gone to the great beyond, right? Most of the other guys are still alive, yeah?
Yes. Crookie. Yeah, that's Oliver Cruikshank.
Right.
We used to call him Crookie. And recently, Fitzroy.
Right. Now, Gordon, tell us the initial stages of how was it? Was it difficult at the start of the journey with Exile One?
Yes and no. It was difficult because when I brought them across I brought them across right after the independence of 1973. So they came in November, and I put them all in one house. So they had to be doing their own cooking and laundry and that sort of thing. And we were rehearsing to make a record. We went to the studio. So this is why I said yes and no. I don't think that they were very happy. You're talking about guys 18, 19 who used to live with their parents and so on, and suddenly they're all packed in one little house in Gosier, But they were very happy because we went to the studio. Fitzroy is the only one who had experience in a recording studio before that. And we recorded and we started getting gigs. So which means the dream of making up a band was immediate. So we were happy. So that's November. When December came, I invited them to spend Christmas with me in an apartment that I had. And the guys decided that you're not going back to that little house. And from then on, I think that the hard times, the challenges were over.
Wow.
Yes, Gordon, let me, can I still call you Diama Creole?
Of course.
Let me first of all commend you for a sterling presentation at the Creole Language National Consultation today. I think it was a high quality production. You gave a very good, you had limited time and you gave a very good contribution. They were
Thanks.
very good contributors. I commend Wadix and his group for putting that together.
Of
There is
course.
one word, you sent me to do some research, diagnosia. I'm researching that word, diagnosia. You
Yes.
used that word and you expressed it, and because of the limited time, you were not able to say everything. So I'm doing my research in that area. But one of the areas I want to switch to is the initial stage of the World Creole Music Festival. Government provided limited funds. Due to the sagacious management chaired by Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, we were able to raise the requisite funds to make the World Creole Music Festival a reality. More importantly, the management team had an international representative in the name of Gordon Henderson, who employed his financial and technical resources to attract high-quality Creole musical bands and international media. Jeff Joe also assisted in attracting high-quality bands. I firmly believe, I commend Gordon Henderson, and I think that he should be recognized for his important contribution. I go on to say, by extension, I recommend the recognition of the pioneers of the World Creole Music Festival. People like Sheridan Gregoire, Gordon Henderson, Eddie Tourneau Decis, Leroy Wadiko Charles, Sobers Esprit, Oliver St. John, Jeffrey Brisbane. I'm not calling my name as yet, and Ronald Lander. I left my name for last. I firmly and unreservedly recommend the honoring of Fitzroy Williams at World Creole Music Festival 25 for his excellent contribution to the creation and development of Calypso. This is a main pillar of the festival. I recommend that Fitzroy is honored during your presentation, Gordon. When you are presenting your songs, you'll be able to present a few songs in order of Fitzroy. And there's some talk about doing a theme song for Fitzroy. I'm not too sure where that has gone to. I would like to see all the other Dominican bands participating in the festival and representative of other foreign bands coming on the stage when we are paying that tribute to Fitzroy Williams. I would really want to see that this particular festival. Gordon, continue doing your excellent work for the development not only of the Creole language, but more importantly, of the Calypso music. Recently, there has been a little, I don't call it an evolution, that's a devolution, where a particular style of music, a particular style of bulo, nasty business, has been invading our country. And we need people like you, pioneers like you, need to come together and have symposiums where we can get the young people to understand and to be trained in Calypso. So that whole high quality music, the high quality music and singing, where you heard all instruments and you heard high quality singing, we can continue that in the foreseeable future.
Go ahead, Lovey. Go ahead. Before Gordon comes in, go ahead.
Yeah, before Gordon comes in, yes, I miss out today, Gordon, on this symposium on the Creole language. I was just busy because what I have seen, first of all, you know, that Creole, our young people, and they're not speaking Creole anymore. All right, it is sad, very, very sad. But you know, yesterday I'm at home and I'm thinking about Creole. I said, you know what really happened, gentlemen? In the 70s and the 80s, the Kadas music, it was sung in Creole. And that's all you had on your radio station. My generation, your generation, and go on, that's all we heard in Creole. We were speaking the Creole. But today, the bouillon music, what you have is in English. And that is the problem I have. The radio station are not playing enough Creole songs, the Kadas music.
Well, let Gordon respond. Robbie, let Gordon respond. Yeah, yeah, Gordon, go ahead. Yeah.
Wow. Well, first of all I can say is to Ron is thank you for recognizing
Fitzroy?
Fitzroy. Well, recognizing Fitzroy for recognizing all the people who participated in creating the World Creole Music Festival. Over the last few weeks, I realized that the contribution of all these names from Sheridan Gregoire was at the helm. All the way, I always think of Oliver St. John, Ron Lander. I realized that the contribution of all these people was much more than people may think. I will explain why. I heard Julius Timothy saying that he had promised $400,000 to finance the first edition. But in fact, we were not as rich as we are today. And he only put 200,000. I figure that you guys must have heard that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that even from a personal standpoint, I probably had matched the governments. If you look at the first poster, you'll see Go Hen Music. Go as in Gordon, Hen as in Henderson. Go Hen Music as one of the sponsors. When I reflect, but it doesn't really matter, and then the people who worked on that festival practically worked for, they were volunteering. That volunteer, people talk about Kudme and that sort of thing, but it was largely a Kudme. So all these people really, really, really need some form of recognition. Now, to understand Fitzroy's contribution, one would have to analyze how Fitzroy as a musician, his career, but all I can say for now, that my entire performance, God willing, in about 10 days at the World Creole Music Festival will be dedicated to about the 50 or so musicians who've participated in the Exile One movement, and some attention, special attention, will go to Crookie and Fitzroy. Now, Fitzroy, because we've worked a number of songs together, a song, because sometimes I say things, people have a habit of underestimating people, but I think I have a fault of overestimating people because I say things because I always believe that people know. So in the music business, when you release a song, some of the songs one person might write. So that person is songwriter, composer. Sometimes you might work with someone else or 2 or 3 other people, but I probably wrote about 5 songs with Fitzroy that became hits. And the way we worked together is he would produce what we call the harmonies for those who play guitar and piano, the chords, and I would come with the lyrics and the melody. And these songs became hits. So Cadence was very different from the Bouillon era in that from day one, I knew some essential things about the business. You see, Mark Murray is the expert. Ask Mark Murray who introduced him to copyright.
Hmm.
He'll tell you. And he studied and he became an expert. The first thing I did with Fitzroy when we went to Guadeloupe is he had a song that was a hit called Hit Me With Music with the Gaylords. It
That
was
was
his song,
Fat Cap Roy in the Gaylords.
Fat Cap. As a matter of fact, on the record that we put that song, we didn't just record the song because we loved the song, you know. I wanted Fitzroy to join a copyright society so he could get copyright royalties because that is the most lucrative part of show business. And our collaboration was a very lucrative collaboration. So that's all I can say for now.
Yeah, okay. Gordon, I want to ask you something. Rolanda mentioned about this Bouillon thing, and I'm sure you keep hearing it. I remember when you all came out with these 2 songs, Eco, Theobadi, and Tout Dieu Sait Je. You remember that dance you had at Fort Young, right?
Yes.
I remember going there, and that night, you all probably took maybe a 10 minutes break, and you all played people dance, and it was a wonderful night. Now, the trend now, I've noticed in Dominica, that bands start at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they finish after. In fact, I'll tell you, there was 2 weeks ago in Salisbury, a local band came out to play at 20 to 5, and everybody had left. 4:40 a.m. in the morning, they came to play in a village feast, and everybody, unlike in your days when you guys people came, you played music for that people can dance. What is your view of what's happening now?
Well, we had a different discipline.
In those days,
First
Right.
of all, we started from the bang as professionals. And when I say professionals, that means it was our only job, which was a big risk. The only guy from Exile One that had a day job when Fitzroy brought them across was Vivian Wallace. He worked at the post office. The other guys were out of school and fooling around. But we rehearsed every day from 8 to the morning, in the morning, to evening, probably to 6. Every day we rehearsed. We wanted to set standards. We had to be on time when we performed. We had to spend most of our performance time on stage. And as I said, we were concerned about the business. So which means I encourage everybody to create songs to become members of SACEM, which is the Copyright Society. And everybody saw that as a job. Just a few months ago, I heard a Bouillon song that was doing very well, so well that it was involved in some competition in Trinidad. And to my amazement, 50 years after Card and Calypso, which was ahead of Trinidad in copyright, and I will tell you a story later if we have the time, we were ahead. I hear on Dominican radio that the guys, 3 of them wrote the song together and there was disagreement. So which means that it was not properly registered. Nobody, 50 years later, I say 50, we started in 1973, 53 years later, over 50 years later, what we call the music industry in Dominica, the main players are still backward in the most lucrative area of the business. So I figure that explains if the guys come at the end to play the dance.
At 22-5 and nobody did. But let me ask you then, now that you have made well, you'll be in Dominica next week. How can you assist these younger guys to help develop themselves in that regard?
I think that the right question is, will they want my assistance?
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you why. Because those, I wouldn't mention names, but those, the few who have solicited my assistance, I've always advised them well. And I think one of the leading ones and probably the most qualified in other fields, I heard him saying once in something that Wadix organized, either at the same UE place or at Alliance Française. I heard him saying live that he spoke to me one weekend. That made me feel very nice and proud. And he learned everything that he wanted to know. And I'm watching this young man, and he seems to be going somewhere. So those who want any kind of assistance, it's free. I love to do that. I like to talk.
Well,
I like to
I
advise.
know who you're speaking about. He's an SMA boy like you. He's an SMA boy like you. So maybe and he's intelligent. So I guess he will probably listen to you.
When we came together, when we came together to start off the festival, we used to have that Creole symposium every year. Every year at the Creole symposium. To the extent we developed the World Council of Creole Cultures. That's the way we're going with it. That's why I'm very happy today that Wadix was able to put together that Creole language national consultation and you participated. I was very happy to start going again. Another major area, because Card and Calypso was one of the major pillars of developing a cultural industry using the World Creole Music Festival, part of the plan was to have symposiums for the young people to condition them, to let them think in that way of developing their musical skills and their singing skills. But that was never done. They were left alone and they've gone astray. You see the quality of the music now? All the music songs the same. You don't hear distinctive guitar, organ, drums. People don't even sing anymore. They see you, Gordon sit down, there's a song. Gordon sit down there, Gordon sit down there. And that's a song, Let's go with that.
Gordon, you want to respond to that?
But you probably make a career in the bouillon thing, man.
It's unfortunate. And I hope that the DFC and whoever is in charge, I have volunteered my services over and over again to help because I know what we want, what we were thinking of Gordon and Sheridan Gregoire. What we were thinking, what we wanted to do to build a cultural industry in Dominica.
Anyway,
now, guys are into a fete. 3 nights of fete.
Okay, Gordon, well, we're running out of time. What I'm hoping that when you come, probably you can come in the studio. If you're here next Thursday, it'd be nice if you could come in the studio so we have much more time. But I want to ask you one final question before we go. Fitzroy is gone. Crooking is gone. Most of the guys still around. Do you believe, well, obviously, Fitzroy was one of the main men. You could get the guys together and try and, in honor of Fitzroy, make a couple songs. Do you believe you all can do that?
If the guys want to do that, I'm game. I have no problems with that. But we have to be realistic. Let's think of, you remember when the Graham Acts, when Zouk came about, everything broke loose.
Mhm.
All the bands from Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica broke loose. There was no more Gramax.
Mhm.
And when Jeff came back on the scene, because you know, there are times when you can move, you can maneuver. He came back with Gramax, new generation, and there was no one. He wasn't vexed with the guys, you know.
Mhm.
But you men are sportsmen.
Mhm.
You get rusty, you get
Right.
old, guys get married, get into other jobs. We tried once to bring Kremlin to play in Dominica, and Ron will remember Fitzroy, who was like the conductor of the band, had to be telling Kremlin, you know, stop playing because we had a horn section. If you don't, that music thing, you have to be at it all the time. Guys see me and they don't know, but it's like everything else. It's like a spotter. You have to be physically fit. You
Yep.
have to play many hours on your instrument. I have given up more or less, although I still have guitars and keyboards, but I hardly play. And this is why I don't play on stage anymore.
Okay.
Akiaka, the entire album, I played keyboards in the early days,
Mhm.
but I don't play every day, so I don't play anymore. So it would be a very good thing to make a kind of get together, but I don't think it would be as effective as when the guys were between 18 to 25.
Okay. Right.
You know, one thing.
Let's go to well, Lobby, we have to think now because time. God will let me say you are alive. So you are, I wouldn't say you have been because you still are. You are a legend of music, one of the greatest exponents of recorders. You have all around the world. You have made sure you push Dominica music. And on behalf of Sports Rap, I just want to thank you for coming on the program. Hopefully, if you're in Dominica next week Thursday, you can come in the studio and we'll have much more time. But let me just say thank you very much for joining us on the program tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, and I will listen. I want to find out why Kevin Hodge is not on the side, man.
Right. Listen, you will. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Take
Right.
good care. Take
All
good
right, yeah, Macreol.
So we take our first break now.
Okay, Ron. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lobby, take care.
All right.
Right. So we take our first break. Labi, Alex, Abby.
Company. For timeless, trusted, dependable, comprehensive insurance coverage, it has to be New India Insurance. Need anything overseas? Shopbox Dominican Isle of Freight is your advance on-time delivery right to your doorstep. For super savings on all your groceries, come to ACS Super Shopping Center for laundry, groceries, cooking, beverages, and event supplies on King Jonathan Street. ACS 7-Eleven on High Street supplying your everyday essentials. Fill up your vehicle gas tanks, get your cooking gas, and top-ups of all kinds. Or go to 7-Eleven Portersville, where the best-kept secret is conveniently located upstairs in the confidential escape or staycation self-contained accommodations at the Porter's Place. Ace Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
When you want me there, what you do? Shop at SCA. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCA. And the husband will say, shop at SCA. You get more for life. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Yeah, shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. What is that? Shop at SCA. Yes, family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price is there. Madam, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCA. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCA. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Check us out at Portersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Some long intelligence may miss the mark when it comes comes to adding softness to your loads. But fortunately, Dominica, we've got Ensueno fabric softener. Ensueno is the conditioner of laundry care, making your clothes feel butterfly soft. Discover Ensueno fabric softener. Long-lasting, nature-inspired fragrances protect your fabrics. Revitalize your laundry with the refreshing scent of spring fresh Ensueno fabric softener. Makes your clothes fluffy, alive, and vibrant. Love all over Dominica. Local agents, Ace Significant Company. Available at all supermarkets, your favorite friendly neighborhood outlet or shop. Use Ensueno.
Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects.
Hello. Yes, I'm listening to you, but you're hearing me? What did you do my phone? Nothing to do with my phone again, huh? Yeah, hello. You hear me? Okay.
But to give you the play, no kind of yes, so we are back and we're going to be speaking football. And we have on the line with us the PRO of the Football Association, Mr. Abby Lawrence. Good night.
Good night, Lockhart. Good night, Lambda. Good night to all your listeners.
And Lobby is there and everything.
Good night, Lobby and Dr. Fountain.
Right. No, Dr. Funk is not there tonight. Now, Abby, you have some interesting football going on now. I think the Division 1 as well as the players for the Premier League. Oh, no, the President's Cup. So tell us what has been happening, please.
Actually, we are in our final stages of the President's Cup and that of Division 1. For the President's Cup, the semi-finals will be this weekend on Saturday and on Sunday. On Saturday, we'll have a derby, Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited versus Roosevelt Spirit Bombers. That's on Saturday. And on Sunday, Valvoline United comes up against Sagicor Southeast. That is for the President's Cup semi-finals to be played this weekend. So, as well,
hold on. Where this match is going to be played at Stock Farm?
Stock Farm.
Okay.
All games will be at Stock Farm.
Okay.
And as well for the semi-finals of the first division, we will have this weekend Bapested coming up against RC Doctors and St. Joseph against Mighty Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the St. Joseph versus Mighty Avengers game will not be scheduled or was not scheduled for this weekend because of other factors.
You know, that is interesting. I probably know why, but I cannot imagine why would they postpone again.
Well, Lobby, I am one that always maintains that no other matter should really impede or stop.
No, but I'm going to be honest. I know it's a fair. They cannot postpone a semi-final for fair. That is a nonsense, honestly.
I am not in a position.
No, I'm not blaming you, by the way. I am saying it. I'm not you. What I am saying is it cannot be that you have a semi-final match to play, and because of fair, they say they postpone it. That's wrong.
And I endorse this statement 150%.
Man, that is crazy. I mean, to postponing a game for fair, man, and that's the problem we have around here, where you can postpone a game for fair.
And what is also to transpire this weekend, we are on the way now of introducing the National Youth Academy. So from Saturday, 8:45 at the Stock Farm Technical Center, 150 young boys and girls from across the nation will be in Stock Farm being guided by FIFA's coach, and we got a representative here in the person of Kurt Hurd. He will also come on the program when you require, and another person FIFA sent in the person of Christina to really put into play a national academy. This national academy will be geared now so as to start developing from foundation up. And in due season, when everything is ironed out, Mr. Hurd, together with the technical departments, will make themselves available to discuss that with you and that of the public.
Well, you're right, because I was going to ask you, but you're right. I was going to ask you to explain that, but you're right. We'll leave that for the coaches. But you're saying 150 young people will be at Stock Farm this Saturday, right?
This Saturday from 8:45 to 3:30.
Okay.
And
boys and girls?
Boys and girls.
Nice.
And they range from the smallest to there are 15. And what is expected in all this, the best of the best will be pulled out and will certainly be developed and trained into what is expected, like as we've seen with the U14 girls. And so the whole thrust is to develop a product, like I've always stated before, that is to enhance the product. So come Saturday at 8:45 at the Stock Farm Technical Center, we will be there together with the FIFA coaches, as well as some of the Dominican coaches, to really bring forward this national academy as is proposed. We had the regional training centers before, and the regional training centers, from the regional training center, it was advised by the technical person, talent coach, Mr. Hurd, that this is the way to go. And we've given him the blessings because he got the expertise, he got the know-hows. So within this week or next week, or after the independence, for want of a better, we will sit together with you all and really discuss it. Let the persons know what is really transpiring.
Question.
Oh, go ahead, Lobby.
Yeah, I have a few questions, Sebastian.
Well, go ahead, Lobby. We don't have much time. We have to move on. Let's go.
So
go ahead.
They have in 150 up to the age 15. There's some scrimmage. Are you going to have a scrimmage based on the ages? Or are you going to have everybody doing one thing?
The structure is organized that everybody will be doing different things as directed by Kurt. I am not in a position to tell you how his program will be because I haven't seen the overall setup, but I know for a fact that there will be multiple areas to which the children will be introduced. And it's not just coming to learn it. It will be a fun-filled event. For example, so some will just learn how to move with the ball, how to do some basic running. But as the program unfolds, Mr. LeBlanc, we believe that there will be good results coming from it. Like I said, I'm not in a position to give full details as to the execution because I'm not on the actual field with them to see what is going on. But I know there will be various centers or various areas to which the very young persons will be called to perform various tasks as the day unfolds.
Second question I have for you. You said you mentioned a name Christian they're from where? Huh?
He's saying he can't hear you, Lovely. Speak up, he's saying.
Christian, you mentioned a female name and a male to assist the gentleman. Are they from Dominica or from overseas?
What is saying, Abby? What Lobby is saying is that Lobby is saying you mentioned a name about somebody from overseas. What you want to Lobby do? Who are the people? You want?
Yeah, where they from? What is people? Yes, what is from?
Asking you where they're from, Abby.
Well, we have one from Britain, from England, and together with Kurt Hurd. So they are now doing what is expected, because as we've known and as you have known, Mr. LeBlanc, Kurt Hurd is our talents coach, and he must, like every other person, be appraised and be examined, and hence the person is there to see how well he is following through his program. Again, is not everything we will make known yet, because we are in the stage of putting the basics in order for a great launch, what we would say. So right now we are just in the process of getting things in the proper perspective, and when it's time to put it in full order, when everything is ironed out, we will launch out into a massive program where all our young persons will benefit, where football will continue to blossom.
Third question. So what is the future of the academies now in Dominica?
Repeat yourself, sir.
He asked you, what is the future of the academies now in Dominica?
Well, as I stated earlier on, we are in the area or in the avenue now of having a national academy, one big academy where our best talents will be scouted from what is transpiring, and it happened over a period of days, because what is going to happen on Saturday, for example, LeBlanc, is they went out to various areas. They went to Marigot, Portsmouth, Castlebruce, Roseau, and together they saw the young men, they saw the young women, and on Saturday they are bringing these very young persons that they saw, the very young persons with the synergy, with the football dynamics in them. They will be bringing them now to Stockfram, and in Stockfram now, the pool, the 150 will be reduced again until when the creme de la creme we will be chosen from them. So it's a new initiative, and like I said, when everything is ironed out, we will, together with the technical coach and the technical director, relay to the public what is the objective, the overall objective, what are we looking for in the next 3, 4, 5 years. But for now, we are just excited as to what is transpiring, and we anticipate again this weekend beautiful football. It's derby weekend, I call it. And we just encourage all our patrons, the many patrons, to come on board and see what is happening. Yes, you may not be hearing me as often as possible. Like I said to persons, PR is not just coming and speak the goals and say this is this, but in moments like this, we can sit and truly discuss where we are in football, the accomplishments that we've made, the difficulties that we've been having, and together find creative.
Maybe I think Ronald has a question for you.
Yes. First thing I would like to say is that I met Coach Hurd recently, and he interestingly indicated that he wanted to come on Sports Rap because he had some important matters to discuss with us. So I suspect is what you're talking about, Ebi.
Yes.
And he will come on. We'll invite him. The host of the program, Mr. Sebastian, will organize when we'll invite him to discuss that important matter. Now, the area I want to ask you about is we are preparing for regional competition against St. Martin, St. Kitts, and Bellis. How is that preparation going? And how intense is that preparation?
Well, we've been preparing, and where we are, as should have been, football should not be stopped. But Coach Sabin is doing what he is required to do in terms of training his crew as to when he will do his final selection. That is within his purview. I am not given the position yet to say the team because I haven't seen it. But all I can say, the training is ongoing, and the CONCACAF saw it fit to really have a series session, a series like this going on, because we did not qualify in our round. So CONCACAF is saying to continue football, to develop football. Let's have a Series A, and hence we are there. So we just want again to wish our young men and our women, because while we speak presently, Mr. Landa, the women are training, the national team, women team is training with under the direction of Mr. Gustav. So again, this is an opportunity. You do not have to call. You bring the coaches together.
We had Gustav here some time ago with us. Gustav was here with us.
You bring all of us together, and we sit and just say one of the first days we are going to put football forward.
Okay, on that note, Eddie, what I'll do, I'll speak to you during the week and we can arrange that, and also with Kurt Hurd to come in the studio. Okay? So thank you very much, and we'll call you, we'll speak to you, and then so next week we can organize.
So next week, definitely you will get the results of what is happening. So Lobby, I still challenge you before I go on of this was I need Spot Shop to be in stock.
Okay. Well, we'll speak to management about that. That's beyond our control. Thank you very much. Thank you, Eddie.
You are welcome.
Right. So we're going to be talking some basketball now. But guys, I don't know if you watched Cape Verde qualify for the World Cup, guys? The second smallest nation in the world to qualify for World Cup. The Cape Verde team. I watched them this week.
I'm watching.
What the smallest nation? Trinidad?
No, Finland.
Finland.
Iceland, sorry. Iceland was the smallest nation.
Sibo, I'm watching all FIFA football.
I saw the Jamaican. I was happy for Jamaica on Wednesday night when they beat Bermuda.
Because they played very flat against Curacao and they lost that.
When they lost 2-0,
I have of that win. So far it's going. So far it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting football. Yeah.
Right. So I think we're going to talk in basketball now. I think Donnie Robinson has a game in the next 2 hours, so we'll speak to him to hear what's happening. I think he's on the line now with us. Mr. President, Donnie Robinson, good night. Donnie?
Hey, good night, gentlemen.
First question, are you nervous or are you all right? You all right?
Never nervous.
Because I played sports and I can tell you, when you're going to go to a do-or-die game, like a knockout match, the pressure was always tough. I can tell you that as a person who was in it. So, Donnie, I know you in the next 2 hours, you have virtually a final then. Tell us, how are your guys? Are your guys ready for tonight's game?
Yes, well, remember, one thing I want to remind you and the audience is we are the reigning champions, so we know what it takes to win. So, yeah, I mean, we had a game that we should have won. We were leading the game all through the first quarter, but unfortunately we didn't, and we expect tonight to bounce back. We know what we need to do, stay focused and keep to our game plan. So, yeah, we're confident tonight we'll level the series and take it to the final game on Saturday.
There's a game currently going on, right?
Yes, the first game starts at 7 o'clock.
It hasn't started, okay.
Yeah, it starts at 7:67, and the team from...
That Maggie's team, 767.
Yes, 767.
But they managed to win without the American players, right? I noticed they won without the American guys they had.
Yes, they won the first game over the young team from Benz. So tonight will be an interesting game. Benz finished second in the league, so we expect Ben to make a push. But it's playoff time, and most times it's the better team on that night that wins, not necessarily the overall better team. So let's see what happens tonight. But I think it will go to 3 games both series. That's what we expect.
So after tonight, if there's a game 3, when will that be played in both semi-finals?
Saturday night.
Saturday
so
night.
The plan is tonight is the second game, and then the third game, if needed, will be on Saturday night.
And the finals will be next weekend? Will it be next weekend?
The finals will follow the Creole Festival weekend.
After the Creole Festival weekend?
Yes. Okay. It will start immediately after the Creole Festival weekend. So the finals is best of 5.
Oh, best of 5.
We have more basketball. The 2 better teams will get to play more, and hopefully we can treat the crowd to better basketball then. But that's where we are. Interesting night. Right.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long, Donnie. I know you have to get your guys warmed up and get it ready for tonight. We want to wish you all the best, and I hope that you guys win. I want to wish you the best.
Yeah, one quick point I want to make here is that I have been going to the basketball in Massac, and I've seen some high-quality basketball, especially your team is a very experienced team. And I appeal to Dominicans. The weather does not bother you. The fee is only $5. Let's come out tonight and Saturday night and support basketball. Come out and enjoy a wholesome sport.
Right. We'll take a break on that note. When we come back, we'll talk cricket. Gordon wants to hear about Calvin Hodge. Good night. Thanks.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCN. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCN. And they all compare. Shop at SCN. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What is that? Shop at SCS. Yes, family. Customer friendly. With free locations. It's so convenient. And our prices. Madam, that's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCN. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCN. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. My grandma, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Check us out at Pottersville High Street and downtown Rose.
All you where in Roseau, Kima Habis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford. All chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast. And you know breast is the best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Risapul, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks. It's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always ready. The economic fabric of Dominica revolves at AC Shillingford and Company. For timeless, trusted, dependable, comprehensive insurance coverage, it has to be New India Insurance. Need anything overseas? Shopbox Dominica and Isle of Freight is your advance on-time delivery right to your doorstep. For super savings on all your groceries, come to ACS Super Shopping Center for laundry, groceries, cooking, beverages, and event supplies on King Jonathan Street. ACS 7-Eleven on High Street, supplying your everyday essentials. Fill up your vehicle gas tank. Get your cooking gas and top-ups of all kinds. Or go to 7-Eleven Pottersville, where the best-kept secret is conveniently located upstairs in the confidential escape or staycation self-contained accommodations at the Potter's Place. Ace Shillingford, where you spend less and get more. Some laundry detergents may miss the mark when it comes to adding softness to your loads. But fortunately, in Dominica, we've got Ensueno fabric softener. Ensueno is the conditioner of laundry care, making your clothes feel butterfly soft. Discover Ensueno fabric softener. Long-lasting, nature-inspired fragrances protect your fabrics. Revitalize your laundry with the refreshing scent of spring fresh Ensueno fabric softener. Makes your clothes fluffy, alive, and vibrant. Love all over Dominica. Local agents, AC Shillingford and Company. Available. Also, your favorite friendly neighborhood outlet or shop. Use Ensueno.
Okay, I think we're back and we're going to be talking cricket. Before we do that, I just want to our sponsor Trapita for the water, providing water to our program Thursday night. And we want to say thank you to Josephine Gabriel for providing Trapita water, our local water. Right, we're going to be talking cricket. And we're going to be having two of the foremost cricket commentators in the region, Mr. Joseph Red Pereira, and our man in Trinidad, the man for Rowley, or what's her name? Kamala. Good night, sir. Mr. Fazia Mohammed, good night. Good night.
Good evening, Sibo. Good to be on the show. Remember the last time I was supposed to be on, I forgot completely and I get properly buffed up for that one. So I had to make sure that I didn't forget this time.
Right, and I have Landa with me, Ronald Landa and Emmanuel Loblack. So Reds has just said he will join in soon. Right. First thing I want to say, West Indies, we have now lost 5 test matches in the space of a couple months. We have 3 more to go. I hope we don't go 8-0. Your assessment of the 2 matches in India, please, your assessment, from what you have seen.
I think, Sibo, 2-0 was what everybody expected.
Correct.
Expected 2-0 in 3 days in both matches. And that's why I was really encouraged by what I saw in especially the second innings of that second test match, where we had hundreds from John Campbell and Shea Hope. And yes, some people will say, is this where we reach, that we actually celebrated that the West Indies took a test the 5th morning? Well, that's the reality. And in reference to the point that you made, Sibo, about the possibility of the West Indies losing 8 test matches, I just want to remind everybody that if we look back to 2004, Brian Lara, Ramnari Sarwan, Chris Gale, Shivnarine Chandapol, all the names that you could remember from what we seem to think was a golden era of sorts, West Indies lost 7 of 8 test matches against England. But of course, that was also the time when Lara got 400 not out. So I think what happens is that we often delude ourselves into thinking that in the time of a Lara and a Sarwan and a Chandapol, Gale, it was much more successful test match wise, when the stats will tell you that was certainly not so. What we had was some more occasional individual brilliance that allowed us to take some. But when you talk about the actual performance of a West Indies team, we've been losing on average 5 test matches every year for the last 25 years. So losing 8 test matches, or maybe 10, or however many, isn't really when we talk about.
Hold on, Lobby. I think we've now been joined by Red Spear. I think, Reds, good evening. Reds, can you hear us? Reds, are you hearing us? Or is your mic muted, Reds? Anyway, I don't think Reds is ready yet. So far, we'll continue. We'll continue. Lobby, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah. Yes.
Go ahead.
Another question I want to ask. Just to what he just said. Oh, we lost 7 out of 8. What is very, very depressing, guys? What is very, very depressing is the crowd attendance. In those days, yes, we lost, but people were coming to watch.
But I'm not hearing anything.
Hello?
Go ahead, Lobby. Go ahead. Let's try to get connected.
And what I saw in India, it was very, very heartbreaking. Especially the first step match. I was wondering what was going on. How we have become. We are consistently inconsistent. There's no quality. You have to fight. And what happened to them? They had jet lag. They still had jet lag. Right. We are too lax.
Lon, I'm not hearing anything.
Go ahead, Lobby. The problem, Reds on Red side, as well is the problem. So I guess we've got that sorted out.
Yes, I believe right now, something has to be done in terms of our preparation. It is
Well,
sad.
let Faz add that, because I wanted to come to that first. The preparation. We went to India 4 days or 5 days before the test match. I want you to make a comment on that.
Okay, well, again, it's a reflection of the modern times in international cricket. Teams usually do that. I mean, West Indies are the first to arrive a few days before a test match. Most of the international teams operate that way. But I don't think Sibo, it would have made any difference to the result.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And to the question that Emmanuel posed about people hardly turning up, people in the West Indies hardly turn up. I mean, one of the jokiest things I've ever experienced in my time following the game was in 2016 when India were here and a local radio station was organizing a boycott of the match because of selection things or whatever. And my question was, how do you boycott something that nobody's attending anyway? So the thing is, if West Indians are boycotting the West Indies, do we seriously expect other nations to fill the seats to watch a team that's going to lose anyway?
Yeah. Let's see. Reds, are you ready? Can you hear us now, Reds? Can you hear us?
He's still trying to set up.
Well, that's what I'm asking if you're hearing us. Are you hearing us, Reds?
I can hear you now.
Right. So I think Faz is there. Ronald Lander is lobbying. So you're hearing us now. So everything's started out.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I must apologize. I had a small little hiccup getting here. All right.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, we just asked Faz about his assessment of the 2 matches. Maybe you can tell us from your assessment of the two games in India.
You're talking about the 2 test matches?
Yes, the 2 test matches in India, yeah.
Well, first of all, I mean, we arrived with 5 days of preparation. Never in the history of any West Indies team, even going back to 1949, when we toured India first, we didn't have that kind of limited preparation. The traveling was by train. That was a great experience for the team. But I feel that we have to back up a bit. I don't know what Faz says about the CPL running late, and therefore there was no opportunity to have a camp and have a preparation. But apart from that, you know, we just look very ordinary in the opening tests. The bowling had no penetration. Seals looked maybe the best. And Warrican, I think maybe as a spinner, got a fair amount of purchase and a fair amount of turns. But we were outbatted, and it's only a matter of time before we lost in 3 days. The second test match, a marginal improvement in the batting, as we all know. Again, the bowling struggled, and we ended on a bit of a high with, of course, John Campbell and Shane Hope getting hundreds. But a disappointing tour. I know that it's nice to see the hundreds, but we lost by 7 wickets. You know, we lost by 7 wickets. I'm not surprised about the result. I'm happy that we're able to take India into the 5th day.
You know, a lot of people fast read, even some of the West Indian players said they were surprised that India enforced the follow-on. No, I wasn't surprised because I personally believe India, because of the lack of quality in our team, they felt they could do that. I don't think any team in the world would have done that to our West Indian team in the 70s and 80s. So I think that for players to come out and be saying that they were surprised that India enforced the follow-on, I didn't understand it fast.
Okay, let Reds go ahead.
Go ahead, Faz.
No, you go ahead first, Red. That's fine.
Yeah, it was India's choice. India decided, well, they just want to pile on the runs and you know, make it as difficult as possible, keep us in the field. And we have seen Indian teams in the past under Kohli, when they could have declared, they have batted on, put a lot of runs in their boots, and it was just the Indian decision. We did, in fact, keep them in the field for a very long time, and we have to credit our tail enders, especially the last stand. So we did well from that point of view. But probably it really didn't matter whether they sent us back in or they batted again and declared.
I think that taking off from what Red said with the lower order resistance in the first innings, that should have been an indicator to India not to enforce the follow-on, because it seems to be more and more a growing trend. And that takes us back to the point I was discussing earlier about the fact that the absence of a camp and so on. I didn't see that as an issue, because there's now so much cricket being played back to back to back. And essentially what you have is, for example, right now, West Indies are already in Bangladesh to start a white ball series on Saturday. And therefore, many teams don't enforce the follow-on anymore. Australia famously are very reluctant to enforce the follow-on because it's about managing the workload, especially on their bowlers. So I was surprised. And I thought that even if they were thinking of enforcing the follow-on, the way the lower order resisted and the way the pitch was becoming easier and easier, and conversely harder and harder for the bowlers to get wickets, I thought they would have batted a second time. But they didn't. They were kept in the field a lot longer, more than 100 overs, and the West Indies were able to come out with some credit. But yeah, I think enforcing the follow-on is almost going out of style because of congested nature of international cricket.
The Hope batting at number 4 with the Imlach now playing as the keeper. Do you believe that is the way to go now with Hope in Test cricket, batting at 4 and Imlach behind the stumps?
Is that question from you or for Reds?
Both of you all, any one of you can answer.
I mean, it seemed to work well. Imlach kept well, 500 plus runs, 2 extras, and they weren't buys, and they were wides. And with Imlach keeping, Hope had a chance to rest his legs, and it seemed to work. It might be just by sheer chance that it all happened. But that to me could have happened in the opening test. That to me could have happened even as early as Australia, where Imlach could have kept, and we could have maybe have a little more solid middle.
Well, I was certainly very impressed with what I saw of Tevin Imlach in Pakistan to begin with. Yes, there was a lot of disappointment, especially here in Trinidad and Tobago, that Joshua De Silva wasn't selected, having been named vice captain earlier in 2024. But this is a competitive environment, and I thought Imlach did nothing wrong glove work wise in Pakistan in difficult conditions for a keeper, and his performance in that second test match again reinforced that. To me, he is an outstanding glove man from what I've seen of him.
I agree with you.
He's very, very comfortable with the gloves, and if he settles in to that number 5 position or any position, somewhere 5, 6, 7, wherever it may be, I think he could make it his own. It creates a very competitive environment in West Indies cricket, because I'm sure Joshua De Silva would like to get back into the test team. But for the moment, I think someone has to be really outstanding to take the keeping gloves from Tevin Imlach.
But looking at the middle order now, somebody like Calvin Hodge, most people felt that he should have gone to India. West Indies go to New Zealand right after the Bangladesh one days and T20. Do you think somebody like Calvin Hodge would fit in nicely back in that team? Because we look at Brendan King, and apparently he was dropped for the second test match.
Yes, he was. The thing is, Sibo, I'm sure the vast majority of our audience in Dominica will be flying the flag for Calvin Hodge, and that's perfectly understandable. But the question is, are we satisfied that selecting Calvin Hodge now will make any measurable difference to the West Indies performance with the bat in the 3 test matches in New Zealand? If the answer is yes, well then yes, he should be picked, whether it's in place of Brandon King or anyone else. But if it is that, well, it really ain't gonna make a difference, we're gonna lose anyway. Just give the man a chance, because he scored 100 in England last year, and he had a few decent scores along the way. He played in the test match in Brisbane where we won. If that's what we're saying, then I don't see the point. I think if we really are serious about rebuilding West Indies as a test match team, which is going to take a very long time, we have to look to the future. We have to look at our younger players and see who really has it in them, who has that appetite for test match cricket, and not just try to satisfy island sensibilities or territorial sensibilities about certain players.
I get your point. Hold on, Lobby. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Go.
Yeah, good evening.
If you don't give the man a chance to prove himself, or you can say, well, if he was, give him his chance to prove himself.
What's the point you're making? We're not hearing you clearly.
Give him his chance to prove himself. Don't tell him if he could make a difference. Let him make a difference, and then you will judge him. You judge him before he reach there.
Okay, thank you. Lobby, you were saying, yeah, go ahead, Lobby.
Yes. Reds, good evening, Reds.
Good evening.
Yes, I just heard Faris talking about we in Dominica. I'm different to you. I'm different in terms of players selection. I'm a coach myself for years, very hardliner, performance. When Hodge was dropped, we had Sammy, and we had Shiloh. No, not Shiloh. It was Sebastian.
Miles Bascom.
Right, Bascom on Hodge. It was said that he's batting too slow. That is what we need. We need players to occupy the crease. We don't need this, you need players right now to occupy the crease. Luckily, we saw Campbell and Hope. They occupy the crease. That is what we need. I believe in terms of young players have to show up. They have to show up. I didn't do about bringing young players. You got to show me you have this temperament. And I believe that's something I want to bring forward, both of you all. I hear about contract for players. Do you believe that, because as you said, there's so much test cricket being played right now, it's difficult to have a camp. Do you think that, gentlemen, that the players selected, they should be monitored in their respective countries and send a report to the board?
Well, that's supposed to be happening. That is supposed to be happening. The players should leave a camp or the end of a tour. They should have special instructions, and it's up to the local coaches in Trinidad or Barbados or Guyana, Leewards, Windwards, Jamaica, to really enforce the program. Whether that's happening or not, I do not know.
Well, I would say that the evidence suggests that it isn't happening, because if it was happening, we wouldn't have a situation where every time the West Indies starts a series, they lose very badly, improve marginally for the next match, and if they're lucky enough to get a third test, tend to perform even better. I would say it's not happening at all. And that is part of the many different problems we have in West Indies cricket. So we could discuss from here till kingdom come about occupying the crease and who did this and who did that and whatever. If it is that players are not doing what should be expected of them as far as levels of fitness, levels of performance, training regimen, meeting certain measurable standards that are monitored and reported to the respective territories and then by extension to the board, and then you say, well, okay, XYZ is falling off the rails as far as performance and fitness and so on. And remember that happened a couple of times to Shimron Hetmyer. He wasn't selected because he didn't meet the requirements as far as fitness. So it's not as if it's not happening at all, but I would suggest that it isn't happening to the level that we would expect. And I know many people will say, well, these fellas should take pride in playing for the West Indies. They need to do it themselves. Because I remember when, in 1920-something, and 1960-something, and 1940-something, when so-and-so did so-and-so. Well, this is 2025, and it's a very different era, a very different environment. The motivation of young people is very, very different. And if we want to create a 1960s environment in 2025, then we will just be dinosaurs waiting to turn into petroleum jelly. So the point is, you have to meet these players where they are and encourage them to do better, encourage them to be better. And by doing so, and as Red said, having those standards and those bits of monitoring and enforcing it as well.
Well, as you say that, Faz Reds, Shanda Paul and John Campbell are not in the white ball team for Bangladesh. Now, what happens to them now? Because obviously they go to New Zealand early December. What happens between now and early December? What happens to these two guys? Because they're not in the white ball teams.
Well, if I will answer that one first. Again, yes. It's really up to the authorities. I mean, the players are not going to do it themselves. Let's be real. Which player is going to say, I got picked for New Zealand, there's no cricket going on, I'm going to organize some practice matches that I'll play in and so on. Yes, it may happen with one or two players, but if you're really interested in the welfare of West Indies cricket, it's up to, in the case of John Campbell, the Jamaica Cricket Association. It's up to anyone else who's waiting for an opportunity in a few weeks' time for their territorial board to say, look, we want to get you in with this club. We want to get you to play some cricket. We want to go do some indoor net sessions. We want to do X, Y, Z. And if the player says no, you report it to Cricket West Indies. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much.
But here in the Caribbean, we have a situation where, no boy, I don't want to report on my own. The people in my island will kill me if I only say that this fella not doing the work that he's supposed to do, and that partly contributes to why we are where we are.
Compromise.
Jermaine Lawson had a questionable bowling action. It took a 7-wicket innings against Australia in 2003 in Antigua for him to be reported. But when he was reported that morning, everyone was saying, well, you know, this was bound to happen. Why wasn't the kinks in his action picked up a lot earlier? Because again, people don't want to have the spine, the backbone to say this has to be done for XYZ player or they can't play. Simple as that.
You know, we saw Chris Deering together with Vivian Richards, Brian Lara, and Richard Richardson in India at a golf event trying to raise funds for West Indies. Now, how I felt it, but can you imagine now the mighty West Indies of the 70s and 80s have to depend on India now to help us with our finances? For somebody like you, what do you think of that? I would like to ask you that question.
Well, Sibo, I mean, people might be upset about it, but why weren't people upset that the majority of our players from that great era of the late 60s, 70s, and 80s had to go to England to ply their trade and were dependent on England? Is it that we are so still colonialized mentally? I know it's the Commonwealth of Dominica, so you're supposed to be independent. You're not supposed to say, well, okay, going to England is not the same as going to India. I hope you don't have the same mentality as Ian Botham, who once referred to the IPL as being slavery, which again, they have no problem. They have no problem with being in England and playing for England, playing 7 days a week and traveling long distances to play county matches today and traveling tomorrow. But from the moment you mention India, people seem to take offense. Is it that there's something wrong with India, who are generating 80% of the revenue in the game, to go to them and try to get favors from them and to go with a begging bowl? Because that's what we've been doing for years, you know. We've at every ICC general meeting, territories like us, whether it's West Indies, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's South Africa, you go with a begging bowl. You go begging for favors to get a little tour, to get a little visit by India so you could get some revenue. So if you could have some of your legends carrying the begging bowl for you direct to India to play golf, what is wrong with that?
Question, Sebastian, that's for you, Sebastian. That is Sebastian, who played cricket at the highest level. I can call him a test player. In his era, there were, we had, that's really the amount of test players we had never played test cricket. Do you see a difference, Sebastian? If you were playing cricket now, you played with white ball and red ball, is there a difference? Is there?
Well, I just think if you're good at red ball cricket, it would make it easy for you at white ball. That's how I look at it. In the days I played, we played with red ball in 50 overs. Faz would know that. I remember scoring 100 at Garakara Park and using red ball for both. It wasn't white and red ball in those days. You just played 50 over cricket. But what the point is, if you are good and can master the basics of cricket, I think you will succeed in individual over cricket. I don't know if Reds and Faz think the same way.
No, I do support the fact that we hardly play any red ball cricket. The only red ball cricket we play is when we play in the.
You mean white ball? You mean white ball? You mean red? Not red.
I said we hardly play any red ball cricket. We play white ball, right? And as you just said, the basics of batting comes from the red ball game. If you can bat in the red ball game, you can bat in the white ball game. And there are a number of players we can use as examples. There's no point going down that line where everybody knows. But the white ball is easy to be sponsored. It's sexy. It's a party. And we are producing a lot of bad. We're producing players with technical faults, right? Players who can't look to settle down in the innings and build an innings. There is just not enough red ball. I mean, I would like to see the 50 over coming up. I don't know where it's going to play.
In Trinidad, Brett. It's in Trinidad and Guyana, November into December.
Well, I'm hearing different. I'm hearing Guyana says they can't host it.
Oh, you mean they've changed now? Well, it was supposed to be Trinidad and Guyana, with the finals in Guyana.
Yes, that is so. The breakout league, white ball, you know. I mean, there was an opportunity. I think the breakout league was $1 million of money badly spent, because you have so many first-class players playing in the breakout league. It's hard to understand, you know, how you can call it the breakout league.
Question again, gentlemen. Yes, I'm looking at what happened to the first thing. Do we have a good batting coach right now? Do you all see? Do we have a good batting coach to help the players with their technique? Look, I'm laughing.
Well, the thing is that question is really twofold. Whatever we might think of Floyd Reefer, the fact of the matter is, before Floyd Reefer, or batting was poor. With Floyd Reefer, it is also poor. So I don't think the performance of the West Indies batting wise is any reflection on Floyd Reefer, because again, gentlemen, with the greatest respect, we are living in a fantasy island or the Caribbean. If we continue to perpetuate this idea that the West Indies have been performing well prior to 2022 or prior to 2021 or prior to Darren Sammy coming on board as chief selector, chief cook and bottle washer, and so on, we are living in a fantasy island. Again, I will mention West Indies lost a test match in 2 days with Brian Lara, with Shivnarayan Chanderpaul, with Ramnaree Sarawan, with everybody, with Franklin Rose, Courtney Walsh, Curtly Ambrose. And we always put all that aside and get worked up about the now as if this has started happening yesterday. The fact is, when we talk about India, as Reds knows very well, as someone who's traveled extensively and followed the game, the last 2 tours the West Indies went to India, lost in 2013, the Papi Show test matches for the farewell for Sachin Tendulkar, lost both by an innings inside 3 days. In 2018, West Indies lost the first by an innings inside 3 days, then lost the second by 10 wickets inside 3 days. So when we get worked up now and want to cuss Floyd Reefer or cuss Darren Sammy or cuss Ravi Rampal and so on, why do we pretend that this is somehow worse than what it was not so long ago?
Is the consistency.
You know, Faz, I've heard Red's views on the question I'm going to ask you. I haven't heard you yet. What is your view of the method of selection now, the policy in the Caribbean, how teams are selected now, the West Indies team?
I don't think the problem in West Indies cricket is selection, because I would like anybody to tell me, name 2 players who you think, just 2, no more than 2. Name 2 players who you can guarantee me will make a positive difference in West Indies cricket. Name 2. And I'll tell you, look at their numbers. People will want to fly the flag for Kavem Hodge. He might occupy the crease longer, but look at his average. Look at his batting average and tell me if that is going to make a difference in the performance of a West Indies. So I don't think the problem in West Indies cricket is selection. I do agree that this new system, I don't necessarily see it making a difference about performance, data, whatever you call it, in the different territories. This is what has been going on for a long time informally anyway. But again, if the overall standard is poor, can we really say that there's somebody who should have been in India who would have made a difference as far as not even winning, the West Indies not losing one of those test matches? I would like to hear 2 names.
Well, as we talk about the overall standard, okay, the board now, some people may say that might help. The CCC team and the academy are not going to be in the 50 overs, neither the first class competition. Do you think that will make a difference?
No, I don't think so, because we had the CCC and the academy team, for more than a decade now. I think they famously won the 50 over title. I think it was around 2012. They've had opportunities for younger players to come through, different players to come through. But if anything, it's watering things down, because for a long time, we just had 5 teams in our regional first-class competition. Then the Combined Islands, as Sibo would know very well because he was playing at that time, was split into the Windward and Leeward Islands. So then we had 6. And it's only within the last 15, 20 years that we've had the advent of the CCC, which was at one time was a glorified Barbados B team. And
You're right.
then at the academy as well. So if anything, it's diluting what is already a very, very shallow pond. So we might argue, well, yes, we're going to reduce the number of matches. You're going to play 2 matches less. Or if it's home and away, you're going to play 4 matches less. But where's the benefit of playing 4 or 2 fewer matches in mediocre competition when there's a better chance maybe of having it more concentrated, and players will now be competing to make their territorial teams or their franchise, whichever one they're associated with, rather than diluting the thing?
That's a very interesting point by Faz. I mean, my first reaction was, well, the money is not there, so the CCC and the academy had to go. I think if we look at the performance of the academy and the CCC, overall has not been that bad, because I think they've embarrassed 1 or 2 of the bigger teams. But the fact that, as Faz just said, that the small amount of games might be more competitive, we just have to wait and see how the new format is in fact going to work out. Faz talked earlier about the future. The future depends on the youngsters. Yet, we are all aware of what we said to Nepal, right? We said the wrong team to Nepal. We said a team that they wanted to win. Winning was the most important thing, and not the development of players. We are certainly a team that beat Nepal. So why not set a younger team? I don't know if you all share that view.
Well, as far as the Nepal series, again, once more, everybody was up in arms and talking about humiliation, losing to Nepal as an associate member. But was there that same outrage when we've been losing regularly to Ireland? We lost to Ireland in 2015 World Cup, couldn't defend 300 in New Zealand. They were an associate member nation then. We've lost limited over series regularly to Ireland. Just at the 2019 World Cup qualifiers, we were lucky to get away with a rain-affected victory to make the World Cup against Scotland. Scotland beat us in the 2023 World Cup qualifiers. They're also an associate member. Scotland and Ireland beat us in the World T20 tournament of 2022 when we couldn't even make the main draw. I didn't hear any great outrage. So why the outrage about losing to Nepal? Nepal are very passionate about their cricket. They've got a population that is, a segment of it is hungry enough that they are desperate to do well. So to me, it's almost an insult to go with a developmental team to say, well, we don't really rate you all that much. West Indies are not in a position to underrate anybody, because right now we perform at the level of the associate members. So I really have no issue with going with whether you call it a West Indies team or a full strength team or a not so full strength team. I have no issue at all with that whatsoever.
Okay, we have a caller. Hold on, guys. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Yeah.
I'm saying that I've been listening to the conversation, and it's not now West Indies have been doing back. We know that. But then have the West Indies board take the time to assess where the problem is and deal with the problem. I'm saying that because, okay, we have some young players, and you see they get out the same way over and over again. So you should not have some coach or some psychologist work with them and correct the error they're doing. In other words, I am not satisfied that the players are given the necessary support they need to get so that they can become better. Okay.
Well, thank you. I certainly feel that our best coaches should be working with the under 19 and under 17. At the senior level, although I am not happy with the track record of Reefer, I think there are other people in the Caribbean, if asked, if invited, and Clive Lloyd said that Desmond Haynes got the wrong job, and maybe he was suggesting that Haynes probably would have done a much better job with our players, especially when we saw them against Australia, because nobody seemed to be able to get out of the crease and come forward and play defensively at all. I feel, gentlemen, that the best coaches should be at the junior, on the 17, on the 19 level.
We have a caller. Hold on. We have another caller on the line. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Chivo.
Good evening. Yeah.
I have a theory which
We're not hearing you clearly. Come on. We're not hearing you clearly. Go on.
Are you hear me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you now. Yeah, go on.
Long ago, we used to be considered as natural talent. But you cricketers, great cricketers, and so on, and we are ball beaters around the world. Now today, what we have is we still considering looking at the history of those persons. To my mind, is a psychological thing we have to look at what those people like Richards and so on done, and we do and compare the fellas. Although we have a right to look at the history of what people do, we must stop blaming those fellas we have now. Look at them and see if we can encourage them to do what they can do and increase themselves. Than to be comparing them all the time with Richards and Mara and so on and so on. I feel like a very psychological thing we have to do. We know these days is more scientific cricket we have playing. Although we have the natural talents, but we have to look at scientific cricket now. All the other countries in the world doing their science and organizing themselves. We still there all concerned about the sellers who have done this thing and done this thing. And the other thing is the test thing pass and so on. West Indies, the fellas when they first test, they were tired. 4 days before they were tired, and they could not have done so well, and they done better. But even in the bowling department, look at the record, 514 runs or 14 or 18 runs were scored, and there was zero extras. That is at least a good idea for the bowlers and so on. So at least they could have less. There was no extras or so much extras and so on. Even the second inning, there was only 2 extras compared with India, who had so many extras and so on the way. So at least they're trying. I mean, I'm a West Indian. I like to see West Indians win. But let us see how we can encourage them to make sure they go through and stop comparing and begin to psychological problem and see the fellas who have done their way before. Okay. We can say yes, they were there, but stop.
Okay, thank you, caller. Hold on, next caller. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you, boys?
Good evening. Okay. Yeah.
I'm listening to me, the problem in West Indies now is that we have made Test cricket secondary to T20 and ODI in the Caribbean. This is not so in the other cricketing countries. You will tell me yes, but the Test cricket is not Test cricket in the Caribbean again. And that is one of the problems. How you address that? Don't forget when we dominated cricket, we played a lot of Test cricket in the English League. Our players were contracted to play 3 days, 4 days cricket. In the Caribbean, no, we do not play enough Test cricket in the Caribbean. Even in our domestic thing, we don't even play 2 days cricket. You go to you guys go to Garden League, has a match at 1 o'clock, and okay. How do you address in the Caribbean Test cricket to be supreme rather than secondary to T20 and ODI? Thank you.
Thank you. First, how do you see, what do you think would make a difference in West Indies cricket? Before you take the question, let's take this caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Let me tell you, you know, are talking about the finances of the West Indies. God knows that Dominicans love their cricket, and they should be giving us games. But yes, still we have a leader there that the worry. They love to see people develop, and then the winter pack is not available. See the amount of money the teams make around the world in the World Cup. Saint Lucian come here and borrow money to set up their place to make money. But yes, still we have a man here that they love us. They love cricket. He's just pretending. When the first World Cup in the West Indies played, we were preparing. The second one, we still can hold a game. And then we're saying that they love Dominicans. We love our cricket, but the people that in charge don't just to see cricket to help the West Indies. They can know any team West Indies that come Dominica will support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Faz, I was asking the question. What do you believe will now make a difference in West Indies cricket?
Look at, this is something, as I said, this is not something that started last week. This is not something that started 5 years ago. This is not something that started 10 years ago. West Indies have been in the doldrums in Test cricket for 28 years, nearly 30 years. And I'm sure you've had this discussion, probably when you had some hair still on your head, you're still having that discussion about why West Indies is big. Therefore, what that tells us is that the problem is now so deep and so wide that there is no quick fix. There is no transformation. Even if tomorrow morning, which is not going to happen, Cricket West Indies decides to adopt all of the various reports and transform their leadership in the way that it should be, rather than having it as politicized and as dysfunctional as it is, we're still not going to see a transformation over, you might see the odd good performance as we see now. It's going to take a long time, Sibo. It's going to take, as excuse me, as Red said correctly, putting in quality coaches at the youth level. Rahul Dravid coaches India's under 19s.
Correct, for years. Yes.
They recognize the value of ensuring that the next level is prepared to make that step up. If we don't have cricket in our schools as we used to, if we don't have that passion for the game in our school environment, in our club environment, where, as was mentioned by one of the callers, you don't see 2-3 day matches anymore. It's all 1 day games, excuse me, or 2 day games at most. What do you expect? So therefore, this idea that by pelting Sammy in the river, getting rid of Shallow, dumping the board in the sea, and bringing in all our former test greats is going to make a difference. You think putting Clive Lloyd as the head of Cricket West Indies or putting Brian Lara as the batting coach is going to make a difference tomorrow? Lara was with the West Indies team for much of last year. And look at how they performed with the bat. So let's stop fooling ourselves that by simply bringing all the legends on board, whoever those legends are, is going to automatically bring about a transformation. There's no evidence in any part of the world, in any sport, which shows that works.
Yeah, we have a caller. One said, class. The caller is here. Okay. Anyway, guys, as we end this conversation, I just want to, on a sad note, Reds would have seen him play. Fast in the Trinidad, and I played if in President 11. I played against him. Bernard Julian will be buried in Saudi. How both of you gentlemen will remember him? How do you remember him?
I will let Reds go first because he saw Julian in his prime.
Julian was very special to the West Indies team. He blended very nicely early with Roberts and Boyce and Van Holen and things like that, and he played a major role in winning the World Cup. Although he didn't star in the final, Julian had a beautiful action. He can, you talk about Holding's action. Julian in his own right had a very, very impressive action. Rhythm, style, the body seemed to be so well coordinated. And I felt in Australia in 75, he got the short end of the stick with the umpiring. After we won in Perth, Julian Burnham had Koja leg before for 7. It would break the middle stump in half. He had Red Pat caught down the leg side by Derek Murray, not given. He was really in the groove at Melbourne, and just to look at his overall career, I don't think that his stats reflect his real ability. Bernard liked life. Bernard liked life. He was a personality, and it goes with people, but I think one of the best all rounders we had outside of Sobers.
Yes, indeed. And World Cup winner, as Reds mentioned, 1975, 24 test matches, 50 wickets, a batting average of just over 30. I think the burden of being cast in the mold of the next Gary Sobers was a kiss of death. Because again, when you get 100 at Lords in your first test match there, then you can see the style. And as Rez mentioned, he had the look as well. He reminded me so much of Jim Kelly from Enter the Dragon, that Bruce Lee kick up that we remember from the 1970s. The polyester shirt, the gabardine pants, the big afro. He had everything. He had the personality. And I think he wasn't able to manage the fame. There was no real great rewards financially at the time. But I think he lost his focus. And I think the enduring memory I have of Bernard Julian is someone who could have achieved a lot more if he remained focused on his game. May he rest in peace. I know his funeral is coming up on Saturday. It's going to be from his home village of Carenage out in the west, in the Northwest Peninsula. And yeah, I think there's a measure of delight at what he achieved, but also a measure of regret at what he could have achieved if he had kept his focus.
Well, Pat, Lawrence Rose said that on tours, if guys wanted girls, they would have to look to Bernard Julian. He made that comment. He lived life. Bernard, that's how he lived. He lived life. Although Spurs, he has a higher average than any other West Indies player on the West Indies team now, Bernard Julian. His average is 31. Nobody else has that average. I think Shanda Paul is the one closest to that. Anyway, Reds, first, let me say thank you very much for joining us. And it was really nice having you all. So on behalf of Sports Wrap, I just want to thanks to both of you gentlemen for joining us on the program. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night to all.
Right. Good night. Thank you. Guys, we have a few minutes. Thank you, Reds. Thank you, Faz. Thank you. We have a few minutes. And I just want to spend a little time. We have to spend a little time. This problem that's going on now with this re-registration, this thing is going to cause a problem. And I cannot imagine why people want people now to have either a passport or a private license, a social security card to go and be reconfirmed. A lot of people will be disenfranchised with this thing. They say there are a lot of people that have never traveled. They don't have a passport. People who have never worked. How are they going to get reconfirmed? That is just so wrong. And I think that, to me, somebody should challenge that in court. There are a lot of lawyers around. Somebody to challenge that. We have a caller. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
I was trying to get Mushe Duncan yesterday, but the line was tight. Come to ask him if I had to bring the 5 expired passports because I'm not traveling again, and I'm not going to spend my money to get a new passport because it's still they want their passport to sell, but I didn't get it.
No, I don't understand this thing. To tell people now they have to get a passport. A lot of people there are people that have never traveled. So how are they going to do it? I would like somebody to really explain that to me, guys. I don't know, Ronald. How are they going to do that? To tell people now that to change, I mean, the birth paper is the easiest thing. The birth certificate. To tell somebody now they have to get a passport as ID or social security card or drive. There are people that have never driven. So you're going to find a significant part of the population who will be disenfranchised. Is that what we want, Messi? Why don't we do things right, man? What is the big rush? Do the thing properly, man. My goodness. Do the thing properly. It is wrong. It is wrong, man. That is an injustice. And I'm saying there are a lot of lawyers out there. It can't be every time. Do something pro bono. Challenge this thing. It is wrong to tell people, may say, they have to go and get this kind of ID when they don't have it. Yo pas ni l'argent. Yo pas ça faire, mon Dieu. Ça doit faire. Do that. Reconsider that and change that around. It is just so wrong, my God. Lobby, to tell people that. And then not only that, you have to bring somebody if you know again. What is all this thing about? Bring somebody to go and get registered or reconfirm, telling them you have to get a passport. And then you hear somebody saying about the chairman, oh, that's raising the bar. Raising what bar? Raising what? To disenfranchise people? When they get in it, it is just so wrong. Wrong. And I don't know, man. As I say, that can be challenged in court because to me, that is just wrong. We have a call on the line. Let's take the caller. Good evening.
Yes, Sibo, good evening and good evening to the rest of your panel. Sibo, I just came from St. Lucia yesterday. First time I visited St. Lucia. And there is a pain in my heart when I see St. Lucia in comparing to Dominica. Yet those people who have been in power for 25 years, 20 years as prime minister, 25 years the office there, they have no problem with that. And they want to remain in power, so that's why they want to disenfranchise people with that re-registration or that confirmation thing, because they want to remain in power. And Sibo, as you said, just 2 days, Sibo, this afternoon, I was speaking to a lawyer about that and asking whether I cannot take the matter to court. He told me I won't be able to because I have a driver's license, I have a social security card, and I have a passport. But anyone who does not have those three things, do not have an ID card, they can take the people to court because they are being disenfranchised. So I'm glad when I hear you say if somebody cannot challenge it in court. He said any one of those people who do not have those things can challenge that. I mean, upaka for patat pa Dominic.
For people who think that what Senval is saying is rude, it does that he's saying you haven't done a potato, that's all. Anyway, go ahead, Senval.
Yeah. So what you want to remain in power for? Just to fatten yourself to get rich? I mean, I believe when somebody put up himself for public office, that is because he wants to see St. Kitts, because he wants to see his country improve. You're not doing a thing for the country, yet you and your how they refer to them again, enablers want to stay in power because it's they selling passport. And that's another thing I talked to the lawyer about. That conflict of interest with Duncan Stowe is passport seller.
Yes.
Ali Clarence or Lennox. Which one? Lennox Lawrence.
Both of them are involved.
Passport sellers. And I spoke to the lawyer about that and see if I can get other people with me, I'm going to challenge it at the court. That is conflict of interest. And the lawyer tell me definitely that can be done. But you see that St. Lucia visit, I live in St. Kitts, I've been to the other places. And what I see, Sibo, I spent 9 days in St. Lucia. I just came back yesterday. Yes. My heart is paining me. I see my country.
I can imagine.
Thank you.
We have another caller. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Sibo. Good evening, Mr. Lander. Good evening, Mr. Low Black. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Andrew. Sibo win serious. How you call that in that country? This afternoon I listened to Pretty Boy saying it was the workers. He said the opposition that wanted what we have there now for voting. What we get
by the way, who are you referring to with the person?
Pretty Boy.
Who is that Pretty Boy now? I don't know.
To go to the carnival, to the carnival month. Pretty Boy knows his name.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Pretty Boy Floyd.
Okay, go ahead.
So people, it makes me laugh. This one wanted us to have is proper electoral system in that country. a complete re-registration, but then they fall for, how you call it, the confirmation. Ronald confirm, I confirm. I don't know what we're going to get to confirm again. That's what they're looking for people to confirm. When you go and you confirm, when I confirm, I was married. Like when I'm voted the first time, I wasn't married. Now I'm married with a surname. So I would like to really ask how that's going to work out. If a person had a passport for 5 years ago and the passport haven't expired, if the person can still use that passport because they might tell you it's not machine readable. The damn thing they're making the ID, I want that with machine readable. We have a fingerprint in it. You haven't got it, but boy, see, boy, we need Madagascar and I'm singing Dominica.
In Peru, they were demonstrating last night. Police are firing gunshots. In Madagascar, take over by a coup, whatever.
Yeah, we need a Madagascar. A Madagascar we need and a Nepal. That is what Dominica need right about now, to stand up proper.
All I'm asking is that they do things right. Please don't disenfranchise people. There are a lot of people who don't have passports, they don't have driver's license, they don't have... that means they will never be able to vote. Please, that is wrong. We have a caller again, maybe the last one. Good evening.
Yes, good evening to you, Sibo. How are you doing?
Good. Good evening.
Sibo, I do not understand Duncan, so the chairman of the Electoral Commission, when he said that whoever the government went back to Parliament because they did not want to cause what they call it, people for corruption or whatever he said. I mean, I cannot believe him because that is what they are embodied. That's what the whole Labour Party in office are about now. I have friends in Gotha and Carriage Street. I want people to know I have friends who are indigent and are looking forward every day to make $20 or $30 for them to eat lunch and maybe something for their supper. They do not have the money, Sibo, to pay $30 for a social security card, all right, to go and register. So these are the people Labour Party are targeting, these poor indigent people on the UWP side, so that we will not have these people to cause us to win Okole, Goodwill, and certain places. So this is something that could be taken to court. Yes, I can get the people for whoever wants the people to take them to court, because it is very bad for these people to go at the 11th hour, people, at the 11th hour, to remove that provision so that people can go and register with their birth paper and a picture and so on. So the Labour Party are waddling in corruption, and they cannot say they didn't want to do this and that. That's what they are about. Good business.
But to me, I'm not a lawyer, but to me, to try and prevent somebody from it unconstitutional, to deny people a chance to vote. We have another caller, maybe the last one, last one. Good evening, final one.
You mean I'm going to take another passport? If I can go with the expired passport, it's not a problem. I have 5 of them. But I'm not traveling again. I'm going to put a passport to watch me at my room and pay money to get another passport. And Sibo, if you don't know who is Pretty Boy, I'm Star Baby. Thank you.
Anyway, good evening. On behalf of the Value Black, Ronald and Lobby on the Council, I want to say good night, everybody. We'll be back next week. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com. to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects.
When you want the leg, you do shop at SDN. Better than the rest, go shop at SDN. And they all compare, they shop at SDN. You get more for life, SDN. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Yeah, shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. What is that? Shop at SDN. Yes, family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price